Today I'm going to show you step by step how to make your first budget at any income and in line with your own natural spending habits. So you'll be able to spend where you want to spend and cut out the things that don't really matter to you. We will walk through 6 easy steps and you can have your first budget in as little as 1 hour. And I promise you, I understand that creating a budget seems daunting. But when I say it's actually easy, that's because it really is. It's just a matter of following these 6 simple steps to get you from budget deterred to budget nerd. I can't believe I actually said that. I am such a dork. Hi, I'm Wendy Valencia. Before I dive in, you can get a download of everything you will need to do these 6 steps and detailed written instructions with pictures and examples on my website at wendyvalencia.com/shop. And I'll put the link down in the description box so you can just follow along with this video. Now, we did go over a part of this system in the video where I walked you through how to get caught up when you're behind on your bills, this one. And I have a free download for all of the steps that you can take if you are behind on your bills. And that is totally free, and I will link that also down in the description box. And you can use that in conjunction with this other system and make amazing changes to your financial future. But in that other video, I flew through the process. So today we're going to dig a tad bit deeper. So let's get started. In step 1, we're going to gather everything we need to get started. This is an easy step and a great way to edge into budgeting. So that means however you pay your bills, you're going to want to get 3 months of your records. It doesn't matter if everything is on one credit card or several credit cards or one bank account or multiple bank accounts or a combination of banks and credit cards. Gather 3 months of records together. And really, for most of you, this is going to be as simple as opening up a few web pages. Although it may be easier to actually print the pages off, so you can use a ruler to keep track of where you are and cross things off as you go. And that'll make more sense in a minute. Just a quick little note here for those of you who have not been spending normally for the last 3 months. For example, if you've had a loss of income or you've gotten behind on your bills for some reason, an analysis of the last 3 months may not be accurate. If this is the case with you, then you want to go back to a time when your spending was more normal for you. So in addition to 3 months of transactions, you're going to also want to grab all of the following things: a calculator, a pen or pencil, a brightly colored pen or a highlighter, paper, and maybe even a ruler to keep you in place and draw straight lines if you're that kind of person. Now, take a deep breath because you're about to do the most difficult part. But don't worry, it's not actually very difficult. It's just a little time consuming. So in step 2, we're going to log all of your expenses for the last 3 months. So the first thing you're going to do is take your paper and flip it so the longest side is at the top. And now you're going to divide the page into 9 equal columns. See, I told you that ruler would come in handy. And you're going to write these words at the top of each column: income, housing, utilities, groceries and household supplies, childcare, transportation, giving, eating out, and insurance. And if you don't have children, that's okay. Go ahead and write childcare down. You just won't have anything in that column. Now draw a line across the middle of the page and you're going to write the following words: pet, medical, savings, spending money, subscriptions, self-care, beauty, debt, and other. And much like the child category, if you don't have pets, that's okay. You just go ahead and write it down and you're not going to put anything in that category. Now you're going to make this page 2 more times. And the whole goal of this step is going to be placing each one of the transactions of money that you spent in the last 3 months into one of these columns. So on your first paper, you're going to deal with the most recent month, and then the next piece of paper will be the month prior to that, and the final paper will be the third month that's the farthest away from you. So you're going to go through all of these expenses on your sheets, wherever you have your transactions, line by line, step by step, and put each thing under one of these columns. Include where you spent the money and exactly how much you spent. 1 month per page. Leave no expenses out. If you're not sure what items go under which columns, then this sheet here breaks it down for you. Income, the income is anything coming in. It doesn't matter if it's a salary, it doesn't matter if it's garage sale or babysitting money. It doesn't even matter if you returned something and got a credit for it. It doesn't matter if it's coming into your bank account, it is income. Housing. Housing is anything involving your house payment, your house. You can include your home insurance there. You can include homeowners association, what have you. Utilities. We're talking gas, water, sewer, trash, power, phone, cable. You know what I'm talking about. Groceries and household expenses, anything that is good, nourishing food for you, or something you use in your home to clean that maybe you purchased at a grocery store. In the childcare category, it has anything to do with caring for your child, so a nanny or before and after care, an au pair, what have you. What doesn't go in the childcare category are extracurricular activities. Transportation, anything to do with your car. Giving, charitable giving, gift giving, anything you are doing that is giving goes in the giving category. Eating out. This is any time you ate in a restaurant. Insurance, any kind of insurance that you pay. Now, you may have put your insurance in your home category or your transportation category, and that's fine too. That's 100% your call. You just need to be consistent. Pet, anything involving your pet. So vet bills, pet food, groomers, kenneling, whatever you have. Medical, so if you go to the dentist or the doctor or you have vision appointments, that all goes in the medical category. Savings, any money you are saving for whatever reason. Spending money is going to be cash that you take out of the bank and you spend. If you happen to know where all that money went, like let's say you took out $400 to pay, a particular bill that you need to pay in cash, and you know exactly what that's for, go ahead and put it in the appropriate category. But most people, when they take out spending money, aren't going to have a clue where it went. Subscriptions, that's anything that occurs monthly, like Netflix or Hulu or cable or anything you pay every single month. Self-care, maybe you go to a gym or you get a massage or go to a spa or something like that. That's self-care. And then beauty is going to be nails, hair, anything. Doesn't matter if it's, your husband getting his hair cut or your daughter getting her hair cut. That goes all in the beauty category. Debt is going to be any payments to debt, and other is going to be anything that doesn't fit anywhere else. So I get this question literally every single time I film a budgeting video, and I get a ton of emails with the same question. So I'm about to give you a huge budgeting pro tip here. The question is, Wendy, what category should I put fill in the blank here in? And I'm going to tell you, this is your budget, and it does not matter one single iota which category you put something in. As long as you don't put an expense in the income category, you're good. If you are consistent from month to month and put that item in the same category every month, you'll be fine. If you want to put your pet food in your grocery bills and not the pet category, that's okay. It's your budget. If you want to put your car insurance with transportation and not insurance, that's okay. It's your budget. Because again, as long as you're consistent where you're putting it from month to month, it doesn't matter. So when you're finished, your spreadsheets, your sheets, tally sheets, I don't know what you want to call them, worksheets. Let's call them worksheets. When you're finished, your worksheets are going to look like this, but probably with a lot more stuff in each column. So now you're going to do this step again for the second month and then the third month. And then you're going to pull out your calculator and total each one of the columns for each of the 3 months. And then you're going to sit back and smile because you just finished the very most difficult step of this whole process. So in step 3, we're going to get an average of each of the categories. So the goal of this step is to find the average amount you spend in each category, and these are the numbers that you will use to create your very first budget. Now go ahead and take out a whole other sheet of paper, and you will make the shortest side the top, and you're going to write all the same categories down the left-hand side, top to bottom. Then next to all of your categories, you're going to start to fill in the total from the worksheets onto this tally sheet. This is what we're going to call this, the tally sheet. So from the income category, you're going to take the income you earned in month 1 and put it in the space next to income. The income you earned from month 2 and put it in the space next to that first income, and the income you earned from month 3 and put it in the space next to that second income. When you have done that, you will take the number from each of the 3 columns and you're going to add them up and get your total. And you can write that down right next to it and then divide that number by 3. And that number is the average. And your final tally sheet when you're done will look something like this. Nice work. Now get excited because you're actually 80% done. So in step 4, you're going to compare your income to your expenses. And the goal of this step is to make sure that you're actually spending less than you are earning each month. And if those numbers aren't going to be in balance, that's okay. We're going to work on that later. So pull out another blank sheet of paper, or you could flip one of your previous sheets over onto the back, and you're going to write down your average income. And then you're going to go over to your tally sheet and you're going to add up all of your average expenses. And then you're going to look at those 2 numbers. And if your income is more than your expenses, then woohoo, you have almost completed your first budget. You can either go to step 6 or you can continue to step 5 to look for ways to cut back or free up more cash so you can reach your financial goals more quickly. That's up to you. If, however, your average expenses are more, as in our example here, we're going to start looking at where we can cut back. Step 5, we're going to identify the problem areas. And the goal of step 5 is to figure out what you're doing wrong with your spending and then make corresponding reductions in your budget. And this step is an absolute necessity if you're spending more than you make each month. But it's really a good idea for everyone to do from time to time, just simply to evaluate if your budget's on track or not. And Mauricio and I actually do this annually to see if we can identify larger trends. So in this step, you're gonna need your completed worksheets, months 1 through 3, and your brightly colored pen or highlighter. So now you're going to go over each worksheet and you are going to start circling or highlighting the things that seems outrageous or unnecessarily expensive. And I'm going to tell you, these problem areas will likely jump off the page at you. I mean, if I were to do it, I'm pretty sure that the word Amazon would be like 25 times each month. Okay, that might be an exaggeration or not. But you're going to know immediately where your problem areas are. I also recommend looking for things that you do not need to survive that are in the amount of more than $100. So in our example, you'll see there are 7 categories that have been identified as high or unusual or unnecessary. And they all could be problem areas or maybe not. We're going to have to decide that in a minute. But only you are going to be the one to decide for you whether it's a problem area or not, because only you can set your priorities. So here's what we found in our very short little example here. Childcare for $2,500 is a huge chunk of money every month. Giving for $250 every month is a non-need based expense over $100. Eating out, there are more transactions in this category than there are in any other category. Pet, $270 is a non-need expense over $100. Beauty is $180, is also a non-need based expense over $100. And debt at $285 is a non-need based expense over $100. Additionally, in the other category, there are multiple transactions in this category. Now, as I said before, just because you identified these areas as potential problems does not mean that they are in fact problems. For example, a nanny is a necessity for two working parents with children, and maybe you live in a very expensive area and $2,500 is the cheapest option that you have for childcare. Maybe giving to your church every month is non-negotiable. Remember, this is your budget and only you can decide what is a priority. If your priority is getting a mani-pedi every 2 weeks and you can meet all your financial obligations and be putting money towards your financial goals, have at it. I want to be you, actually. Now, let's talk about the number one identified problem area for 99.9% of people. And yes, I totally just made that percentage up. I just know that almost everyone I talk to says they're spending too much on this category: food. If you are going out to eat multiple times a week and you're spending more than you bring in each month, it's probably time to cut back. You don't have to stop going out to eat altogether. Just maybe start by cutting back 1 or 2 times a week. So you want to go and find some super quick meals that you can make at home, like crock pot dump meals, or maybe just picking up a roasted chicken from Costco is the way to go. Now, let's talk about groceries. And I do recommend you head over to this website, which I'll put down in the description box, before you start trying to cut back willy-nilly on your groceries. This website tells you the average amount spent on food for thrifty, low-cost, moderate, and liberal food plans. And it's divvied up based on people and various age categories. They do also have a family of 2 and a family of 4, but if you have a family of 5, you can take the family of 4 and just add 1 additional person. And I'm not intending to throw shade here, but under no circumstances should you be comparing yourself to Instagrammers and YouTubers in the cutting back frugal community. In my opinion, most of their food budgets aren't reasonable. Several of them, their food budgets are below the thrifty category. A food budget of $50 a month for a family of 4 is not achievable. Don't set yourself up for failure by trying to set that as your food budget. At this point, you should have easily identified several problem areas because everybody has at least 2. If, however, you were unable to identify any problem areas that you could remove from your budget, you may fall into one of these 3 categories. 1, you're not being realistic. If you are spending more every month than you are making, then something has to change. If you left $180 in there to get your hair colored, and $142 for ice skating lessons as non-negotiable, and you're $300 over budget every month, that's a problem. And I'm sorry, but some people just need tough love. And I'm a tough love kind of girl. Or number 2, you have a huge amount of debt that is taking up a large portion of your money every month. And if you're paying a lot of money to debt every month, you may need to look at long-term plans for paying off debt so your expenses are less. Or 3, you actually have an income issue. You don't make enough money. If your spending is needs only and you have no wants or no fun in there, your issue isn't your spending, your issue is your income. If that's the case, you may want to think about a career change. Now, I'm only saying this if you're not paying money to debt. If you are paying money to debt, then your issue is number 2, the debts. If you are struggling with this step, because while this isn't a time-consuming step, it often can be difficult for people. You can ask a confidant to take a look at your spending and see what they see. Sometimes having a totally different set of eyes on your money can really open up where your spending problems are. In the final portion of this step, you're going to reduce your averages where you think it is reasonable. So in our fake example, we'll consider cutting back on grocery expenses, getting rid of childcare temporarily and asking a family member to help out, and cutting out charitable giving temporarily, cutting way back on eating out, and getting rid of all of our subscriptions, and getting more realistic about our beauty budget. By doing this, we're actually eliminating $2,774.85 from our fake budget, which will not only fix the deficit on the is your income more than your expenses issue, but it frees up an additional $1,528.77. In step 6, we're going to finalize your budget. The goal of this final step is to create your actual budget and begin tracking your expenses. By doing this, we're going to keep your spending on track every single month, because tracking your spending daily is the key to successful budgeting. And once you get the hang of it, you can often track your spending in mere minutes every single day. I track every morning. It's the first thing I do every single day, and it usually takes less than 2 minutes to do. For this next step, you'll need 2 more sheets of paper. On the first one, you're going to have 2 columns, the planned amount and the actual amount. And you're going to also list the categories down the left-hand side of the page. Then you're going to transfer all of your averages after they've been reduced into the corresponding category under the planned title. And congratulations, you actually have created your first budget. Yep, it was simple, wasn't it? Now all you have to do is start tracking your spending for the next month. That's it. So let me walk you through how you're going to do that. In your planned category, that is your budget plan. Your actual category, you're going to either track those as you go, or you're going to add them up at the end of the month. I recommend always adding them up every single day. So on this second sheet of paper, you're going to divide the page up into 5 columns. And you're going to call those columns date, store/location, item purchased, budget category, amount paid. Now all you have to do is track your spending as you do it. As you pay for items each day, you will log them into your expense log. If you have income, it'll go in there too. In the date, it's obviously the date of purchase. In the store/location, it's going to be where you spent the money. So it could be to General Electric or Amazon or Aldi, wherever you spent the money. In the third column, the item purchased, what did you get with this item? Did you get a mani-pedi? Did you get groceries? Was it your electric bill? In the next column, budget category, which category of your monthly budget would it go in? Meaning, would it go into income or housing or utilities or what have you? And finally, the amount you paid, which is how much was the transaction. It's like a check register, if you even remember those. You may choose to keep 1 page for each category. For some people, that makes it much, much easier. So that way, all of your housing expenses for the month would be on 1 page. All your utilities would be on another. That's 100% up to you, however you want to do it. And here's a pro tip that I've mentioned, but let me explain why. Log your expenses every single day. Why? Because if you wait for more than a day or two, trust me when I tell you, you are not going to remember what you spent it on. If you spent $5 at Amazon and 4 days later you have to log it in, you're not going to remember. And then you're going to be going over to the Amazon website and you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's what I bought. Plus, doing it every single day is going to help you keep on track throughout the whole month. By making it a habit, it just becomes part of your daily routine. And once you incorporate it into a routine, you're going to be a whole lot more successful. So if you want to learn how to save for big purchases, I'm going to point you to this video right up here where I'll walk you through how to create short-term savings funds so you'll never get caught off guard by big expenses. Or if you would like to see how to get caught up on past due bills, I'll put that one right down here. So I'll see you in the next one.